Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for an upper body day, and this is going to be a long vlog. I trimmed this down as much as I could, getting rid of most of the moving to and from the benches. So this is literally 20 minutes of lifting. And one of my pull-up sets didn't get recorded. Still trying to use the phone, so getting the angles is a little bit difficult sometimes, because I can't see myself coming back and forth with the phone because I use the other one, not to where I turn the screen at myself. But, we're getting a little better with it. So I went back to my straight bar today. I've been going back and forth a little bit between using the McDonald bar and just using the straight bar with pause work. And, I'm like, I think we'll be fine with this because my range of motion really, I don't get significantly more with the McDonald bar, and I still might use it some. It's mainly just getting that stretch reflex. But I feel like, if I do want to make sure that I keep a pretty big bench over time, I do want to make sure I'm getting pause work in there. So we did 225 for 5 sets of 10, but not really. I got like 9 reps on the last set. It was getting pretty grindy, but tried to keep it flat back. I am still benching flat back. Even though I'm messing with the belt and the wrist straps, put them back on because I wanted to run a phase and just make sure that my wrists and everything were strong. But at the end of the day, I am trying to get as much muscle fiber recruitment as possible, and anything I can do to boost neural drive is a good thing. But I feel like when I'm benching flat back like this, that the stretch is so good that I don't know that I'm really getting additional range of motion on the McDonald bar. I've had people try to claim, oh, it's not going deep enough. I'm like, yeah, but that is my range of motion. Like, that's almost painful. And even when I pause it, in a stretch, it goes pretty much about where my flat back bench is. So overall, I'm happy with this range of motion. I'm like, we might as well just use this bar. Only difference is I don't get stretch reflex, and that's okay. All right, that's okay. But what I am doing is taking a fairly wide grip here. Because I'm doing a lot of arm work. And like I said with the volume stuff yesterday, I am going to work the arm and the calf volume up. And it may not be so much inside the sessions as it's going to be in between. So what I've started doing is in my office, I keep some dumbbells, and then I'm doing some calf raises on I have something I can step up on the edge of one of my exercise bike. So I'm doing calf raises and curls every day, obviously for higher reps than what I'm doing here. Okay, so in doing all this, I'm like, I don't need to care at all about my arms on my torso work. So in other words, I'm not going to worry about chins. Let's just do pull-ups. Let's make sure we work our lats. I'm taking a pretty wide grip. Same thing with the benching. I'm making sure it's not as tricep dominant of an exercise. I'm making sure that this is a very, very chest dominant movement in the way that I'm performing it. And it is because of, again, I'm flat back. I'm outside the rings, got a couple fingers outside the rings. Right, it's probably my middle finger is right about on the rings. Okay, so we're at a nice wide grip. It would still be within meet legal for powerlifting. Okay, taking pauses on everything with that flat back, and I'm getting a tremendous chest pump. Okay, we're getting a tremendous chest pump, and that's the goal. I'm like, well, let me just let my pressing be for my chest and make sure all my pulling is for my back, because I'm going to do a bunch of isolation arm work anyways. Right, we're going to do 10 sets for biceps and 10 sets for triceps on both upper body days. Right, so I'm not as worried about any of these carrying over. Let's just use them to build my torso, and we're going to work a couple different angles. Okay, so we want 2 angles of pressing for the chest and 2 angles of pulling for the back. And I'm keeping them at different planes. I thought about, I could work in just dumbbells, flat bench and then dumbbell. But I'm like, man, the incline brings a lot more to the table. Plus, because I feel like I'm getting all this pressing and pulling, I'm not as worried about shoulders. Incline's going to be a little better shoulder exercise. I think incline is one of the better exercises for the front delt, even potentially side delt, all of that. I think it works on everything pretty well. Just like the pull-ups and the rows will work the posterior delts with some carryover to the other. So for now, I'm not going to worry about delts. because I feel like they're getting so much volume with the other stuff. Now, the other thing to think about too, because I've said as I'm working more on actual bodybuilding type training for a while instead of powerlifting, and I'm trying to improve aesthetics, and I feel like it's coming along. You know, tons of people have chimed in, even who are bodybuilders. It's like, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, major changes." But you figure I'm halfway through that. I made about half the changes I need to make. You know, and again, it's we're going to keep trimming down this waistline. I mean, on very, very, very high carbs again, because I feel like I function best on that, and I'm noticing it with the training, night and day difference. Trying to moderate carbs versus just keeping fat super low, and even keeping protein at right around optimal, not worry about overfeeding. Let's just get as much carbs and fiber in and whole foods as we can. My training volumes, I'm able to tolerate these volumes much, much better. All right, so after we did the pull-ups and the benching, I did incline, and I wanted to get to where I can stretch. I'm like, okay, because the last time I couldn't touch my chest. I'm like, no, let me get this position down. And the first 2 sets, though, were almost warm-ups. I did 5 total, the first 2, because I'm like, I just need to get into that stretch. And for me, the incline stretches my chest so hard that it hurts. So, and what I was doing the other day when I wasn't touching, I was pausing on those, and that was the bottom of my stretch. You know, now I thought about doing standing rows today, but I'm like, I want to work back squats back in tomorrow, right? I think it would behoove me to work back squats back in instead of only the machine work for quads. So I'm like, I don't want to go over to a standing row of any type yet. I thought about standing up on something and see if I can get crazier ranges of motion, but I'm like, no, let's keep them chest supported. Let's stick with the seal rows. Seal rows hit my back super hard. I feel a ton of both lat and rear delt. Okay, so run with it. But yeah, the first 2 sets of these, I just did 10 with 135. Then I went up to 185. And I'm aware people are like, well, you'd hit a point, but I was bulking too, where I was able to rep 225. But they weren't always pretty pauses. There was a lot of butt movement. So I'm trying to keep these clean, and I just want to build up the work capacity, because really I can only do 1 good set also. Keep that in mind. All right, with these, I'm trying to work and do 5 sets. So what I'm doing here, this is 10 sets for chest. I think people realize what the math, it's going to be 20 sets for every muscle a week, other than biceps and calves. But that's if I'm not counting the pressing as triceps. But I think I'm trying to grip so wide on everything that I am de-emphasizing triceps a bit. I'm not really feeling them. That doesn't mean they're obviously still working. Keep that in mind. People say, I don't feel the muscle. Doesn't mean it's not working. Right? If the joint is moving that it attaches to, there's tension on it. But I think because I'm doing all this stuff wide, really good pauses, strict, it is de-emphasizing triceps a bit. But that's okay, because we're going to hit 2 types of curls, 2 types of extensions. All right, so for the last 3 sets, I went ahead and went up to the 185. I managed to get 8 reps. In the 8th rep, each time the bar moved slower. It felt slow. I was worried that it was only 0 reps in reserve. They were probably 1. Like, I probably could have ground out another. I mean, looking at the bar speed, it felt like I might not get another rep, but I know that I had 1 left. Looking at the speed, I think I do. The rows, and what people are like, how do you manage to always hit your rep count so close, even though you say you're very close to failure? Because I gauge from previous workouts where my strength is. So I know what about my 10 to 12 rep maxes are. So let's say I'm going to do 5 by 10. I'll take a weight that I know if I do everything strict and pause at the 12 rep max. So we are getting very close to failure, definitely by the final sets. We're right on that bleeding edge. The incline is unpredictable for me though. So I was hoping I could get 10s with these 185s, but man, they felt slow and grindy on the 8th each time, you know. But the upside, my upper chest got pumped. My whole chest got pumped a lot on the flat benching. On these, I felt the entire upper chest all the way across the whole collarbone. And I felt the delts activated really, really hard on these. So I'm pretty happy with that overall. I'll take it, even though, you know, I do wish I was a little stronger at incline right now. Keep in mind, we're deep into a workout and we're doing a fair amount of volume with them. So I've got to remember to be a little forgiving to myself, especially when I'm trying to be strict, be paused, you know, not let my butt come up at all and use like drive off that incline, trying to make sure it's all chest getting the weight moving. All right, the seal rows, these, I was happy with this. 5 by 10 with this weight for me is a good place. Like that's right around pretty close to PR. I've done 10s with 185. I don't know if I did 5 by 10 though before. So the 175 is good, but I've also done those fresh. So I did 5 sets of pull-ups first. Now the other thing with the pull-ups, so why not chin-ups? Because I'm going to do tons of curls. I want the pull-ups to build my whole back, the whole posterior side of everything. A nice wide grip pull-up like I'm doing works lats, works my rear delts, mid traps, all that stuff. And then of course the rowing is hitting the whole trap, including the upper trap, right? And we know rows hit rear delts and posterior delts pretty effectively. They might get hit a little harder if I'd done more of the standing up row, bent over row, but subject to debate. But I feel the whole upper back extremely, extremely hard on seal rows. So for me, there's no question about what they're working. All right, Skullcrushers, because I needed the 25s for the curl bar. I didn't put them on here, but I'm like, well, I was getting 12 to 13 reps with these. With the 25s, let me put 30 on each side. So we went up 10 pounds, and sure enough, 10s got real hard. The first set, I felt like I had reps in reserve. I'm like, I could have probably got 12. I knew I could. By the third set, the 10s were getting really, really difficult. So what we're going to do there, because we are doing all that pressing, I want all my tricep work to be very balanced. I want to make sure it's going to hit the long end. I don't feel like doing pullovers anymore for a while. I'm doing enough overhead stuff, all the pull-ups. I'm doing incline. I'm doing all this other stuff that improves mobility a lot. I want a little bit of a break from them. Again, I feel like since I can do pull-ups now, I'm good. I think here now we can see the difference of now that I've added carbs, going real carb heavy again. Notice the difference. I look a lot fuller, right? Even though I'm cutting, I'm actually training fasted. For those curious, I don't eat breakfast till 11 o'clock, noon, something like that. So I'm actually training fasted, but I'm still, carrying a lot of glycogen from the carbs the evening before. Still all there. But yeah, so this weight, because it's an 18-pound bar, 78 pounds. These were challenging. Notice I roll back on those. For those who don't notice, I don't just go and stop right at the forehead. I do roll back with it a little bit, which makes it a little harder. I didn't even mention, I'm like, let me just mess with the easy bar for these for a bit. Like, I'm doing so many curls. Do I really care if the easy bar works a little more brachialis? Like, let's work a different angle. I feel a lot of pump with this easy bar. And I said before when I was doing it, I feel a lot of pump. Even though I know biomechanically there could definitely be merit to the straight bar, but since I'm doing the dumbbell curls too, and I'm doing dumbbell curls in my office every day, I'm doing at least 5 sets of them. I don't know if I'll do that many today. Because I did upper body, I'll probably do some. But at least my non-training days, I'm definitely hitting at least 5 sets of curls and calf raises, if not more. That's just my baseline. I don't really count. I just get in and just pump them out. Do something maybe 30 minutes, another set, an hour later, another set. Just do them through the day. And that's what I want to test with the higher volumes, because if these hypotheses are correct, then I should see some bicep and calf progress from that without them overtraining. But I think that's what I want to do. Let's just do something like that with a couple of muscles and don't try to do it with the whole body. We don't need to be trying to do 30 plus sets for my chest, 30 sets for my quads, no, let's not do that. I think 20 for most of the muscles, that's still very, very high volume, very high volume. But yeah, I think we can tell the recomposition itself has gone pretty good. My body composition's improved. I still have more to go. I need to lose at least 10 more pounds of body fat, and most of that being around that whole waistline area. Okay, I need to tighten up the whole waistline, the lower back. And as I've said, the loose skin will tighten up. I need to put up some of the photos I have from the water cuts. I've mentioned that before, that during those water cuts down to under 200 last year, all that low back was tight. Even the loose skin was tight. So that tells us a lot about really what's going on there. So I feel like if I just get leaner and leaner, that will eventually tighten up more. It's the downside of losing over 100 pounds of body fat, in the past. But yeah, I like the easy curl bar. You know, and again, we can make different arguments for it working with a little more brachialis. But I'm doing dumbbells too, so who cares? But I'm trying to bring them full range of motion all the way up to my face. And by the way, for the record, you know, I've got people over here talking about my curls aren't strict enough. And I'm like, compared to who? I linked a clip up on the tubes on the community tab of Arnold and Franco training. And look at how they curled. Dude, nothing was strict. Ronnie Coleman didn't curl strict. And all these people had massive biceps. I don't think when people start talking about all these slow controlled negatives, I don't really, how do I put it? Most champions didn't really do that stuff. The evidence for it causing growth is not that good, guys. I don't know why people over focus on it. Okay. I mean, just like in my back, everyone talks about historically my lack of negatives on my back work, and yet my lats are my biggest body part. You know, come on, guys. I think if we just get good full ranges of motion on biceps and just get a really tremendous pump the shit out of them, do full ranges of motion. So again, I'm locking all the way down at the bottom, leaning forward so the bar will clear, coming up to my face. Do the same with the dumbbells. I think we'll be good. Right, same thing with these triceps here, just trying to get a good stretch. The dumbbells were a little awkward because of the 10s. I feel like almost maybe I need to load this bunch of 5s on because they'll be smaller. I have them. I might need to do that just so they're easier to clear my face. It might give me a little more favorable bar path because these were hard, really difficult to do because of having to keep them a little wider. But again, different hit on the tricep. The triceps felt different. You know, same thing when I do the dumbbells versus the easy curl. I noticed the easy curl bar, I did feel that brachialis pump a lot more. With the dumbbells, I definitely felt more further up the arm, so the bicep itself. But they were ridiculously pumped. I tried to get at least 12 reps on these, but they were just burning. I managed to get them. Some of them I got more, but it was kind of hard to even count. Just trying to keep pumping because my biceps were on fire by this point. You know, because this is a lot of arm work. But that's my weakest link. I need to get leaner and I need bigger arms, right? I think we all understand this. And so again, with this stuff, I managed to get 10s on these. They were a little tough to get them with the bar path. So I wanted to use the same dumbbells. It's easier to just superset. Because I don't have other short ones. I have all those longer ones. So it's just, you know, a little more pain in the butt. But I might be able to do that. I might be able to use those for the triceps. And just put 5s on them. I might try that and see if that's a little more workable next time. And then I don't have to overlap the dumbbells the same. I could just, you know, use 2 different sets if I need to. That's an option. But my arms, by the end of this workout, my arms were burning. Biceps, triceps, everything. It was all just burning. And that's what we want. All right? That's what we want. Keep the arms growing. Keep getting leaner. But all in all, pretty dang happy with this. I don't feel like there's much more to talk about with the training. You guys can watch the last few sets. But yes, it was 40 sets. It was 10 sets for chest, 10 sets for back, 10 sets for biceps, 10 sets for triceps. And we'll probably repeat this again on Monday. So this is a twice a week thing. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.